Welcome everyone. So glad that you're joining us again. I'm Sheila Gale, and guess what we're going to talk about today? Pyramids! We know about the Great Pyramids. We've heard about pyramids. What are pyramids about, and what do they do? What's so important about them? What are they used for? Our guest today is Rob Potter. He actually creates these amazing pyramids and so many more great products. He also is a UFO contactee. He's got a wealth of information, and he's here today to share that with us. So welcome, Rob. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sheila, very much. It's an honor and pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you. It's so great to have you. So first of all, I'm so fascinated by these. So what do pyramids do? What is the meaning of the geometrics?
The pyramid itself actually is representative of the carbon atom. Everything on the physical plane is made of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And the pyramid is, when it's aligned to magnetic north, it has the inherent characteristic that it rings or resonates. Gold's molecular structure is pyramid-shaped. Diamonds are made in crystalline pyramid shapes. That's why we value diamond and golds, because of the vibrational healing energies. It's the bezel of the sun, the magnetic energy, and simply stated, it acts as a lens or a prism and refracts the Earth's magnetism into 7 sublevels of life force energy, and it produces an invisible pranic molecule known as ki, chi. Tibetans call it sumo, Indians call it prana, but we would know it as the negative ion effect, which actually energizes the bloodstream and creates electricity in your body. So it's important, it's vital to life. You can't breathe without negative ions. So the pyramid has that effect, but it also has an effect when used in various configurations called, I call these pyramidal arrays. These were all developed by, if I could show that book real quick, Dr. Fred Bell, my mentor, who's passed on now after the Jesse Ventura show. But the information and technology in here we received since I was very young, 17 years old. In 1974, I met Dr. Fred Bell, actually a little bit younger, but we started to have contacts with the extraterrestrial Semyasi, the same one of the Billy Meyer UFO contacts. Now, a lot of this was going on in Fred's house, and she was guiding the development of these scalar wave pyramidal shaped forms, and we were utilizing crystals and lasers and different jewelry.
So can I ask you, so what is that form for? What is that supposed to do?
This particular device is, I call it the light orb and the light tower. This is a scalar device. We put clusters of quartz crystals at the bottom. For instance, I took people to Egypt this year on December 21st in the 1212, and we were inside the King's Chamber of the Khephren Pyramid. That's a great story on my website, thepromiserevealed.com. A lot of the stuff is very complicated and takes a long time to get, but basically you can take a mineral, like a gemstone in here, a ruby, and that energy of the ruby can be transmitted out. We take this device, this is a scale model, I build them larger in that size, and we install them around the world, and you connect this to a Tesla floating ground violet flame power supply, and you create a scalar field which transmits the information in here. So if someone needs help in balancing their pituitary gland, we would place a crystal in here, and these are the advanced technologies that are going to be coming forward very soon when things change on the planet. We're having some tremendous changes.
Let's talk about those changes on the planet. As you know well, we're going through, but this is real good inside stuff, so yeah.
Well, basically, after Dr. Bell died...
Oh, one thing, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned that he died after the Jesse Ventura show?
Yeah.
Was it,
no.
Do we know how he died? Or
he died of a heart attack. I don't think there was anything nefarious going on there, actually.
Okay. I see. Okay.
I think it was a normal thing for him. It was just an unfortunate coincidence, in my opinion. But I was with Fred for 35 years.
Wow.
We traveled the world. We started a lot of these shows, the National Health Federation. Then we were at the first Whole Life Expo.
Oh.
Traveled around the country for many, many years. I kind of got out of it after Fred passed away. I felt it was kind of important to carry on the torch with this technology. And I decided to come out with my own story. I always remind in the background, there's a book called The Promise, which Brad Steiger wrote about Fred Bell. And I'm a character in that book called Eric. It's loosely based on his life and my life conjoined, and the stories of the contact with Semyasi. Most of my experiences were out of body in the beginning, and I was getting a little confused, and a very famous contactee named Gabriel Green had asked me, called me up and said, the Ascended Master Hilarion is sending a teacher for you. And to make a long story short, I went up to his house where I met a gentleman who worked in an underground military base where the Greys, at that time, no longer true, folks, but the Greys were abducting people for genetic material.
What are the Greys?
The Greys are, of course, the aliens with the big eyes and the heads that you know, the Roswell Greys.
Okay.
Okay. So they basically, I'm sorry, you took me off track.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take you off track.
Yeah,
so we're gonna. There's so much information here, and we're gonna, have you back absolutely for sure. But let's just go back to where I sort of took you off track with what is going on now. The information that you've been given about what's happening with the planet.
Well, it's important that people. I guess my personal experience was he worked in an underground base. He broke his mind control program, which was very advanced, even in the late 70s. He was sent to me, and he told me several things going on and gave me a demonstration, took me out into the desert with 3 other witnesses, Michael Legion, Gabriel Green himself, Bill Hamilton was nearby, and Semyasi's ship came down and hovered. I was crying because they had followed me home at night with lights, and it was very difficult, but she came up very loud and proud and low and slow and just hung there. And I had a telepathic communication with her. Tears were streaming down my cheeks because it was quite emotional for me. But after a series of conversations, she told me that I was becoming an ambassador for interplanetary cultural exchange. And so many years later, trying to tell my family the world wasn't right. But to be honest, I had a little chip on my shoulder and was a little not so into it for a while. But years later, the evolution of consciousness has come to the point people are ready to hear the message.
Let's hear that message.
The message is one of love and truth and peace and spiritual development. In fact, when I asked her on the contact, are you going to land, she said no. The military guy who was telepathic was following the conversation, and he said, have you seen enough? And I said yes, and I turned and walked away, turned my back on the UFO. And Gabe and Michael said, where are you going? She hasn't left. I said, she's not going to land. For me, it's not about looking at a bigger car. It's about the spiritual message of transformation and the evolution of consciousness that the extraterrestrial represents. It's all on us. They are not here to hold our hand and to help us develop. But we have a situation on the planet that's been going on for 25,000 years where this planet's been quarantined due to, let's call it turf wars from a negative source that has sought to enslave humanity, literally. And it's a very complex subject, which you can read about on prepareforchange.net. I've done a lot of articles on that website, and I'm working with a friend of mine named Cobra, who's a code name for compression breakthrough, which means the light from inside the Earth is meeting the light from the galactic central sun on the surface. And at the time that that light meets, it'll be called what's called the event. And unbeknownst to the public, the extraterrestrials have been involved in contacts and dialogues with high-level members of our finance, industry, military, and of course our spiritual ground crew on the Earth, in preparing people for the tremendous changes that are coming, that are actually our birthright and part of our evolution. You
mentioned the banking system, like what's going on recently, which I did not know about.
The banking system is basically a racketeering Ponzi scheme, fiat money thing run by the central banks, and it's a criminal organization. And people will notice there's been over 800 bankers resigning in the last year. Wow. The 4 that were suicided had evidence against the gold manipulations. The Federal Reserve Board has officially been taken down. There is currently, there have been behind the scenes a global reset of 138 of the world's currencies. You're going to see that taking place very soon, folks. You also, when this actual reset takes place, you may see the banking system shut down completely. No one will be able to get their credit cards, no money. So it's always good to have some cash on hand. The banking system is kind of the cabal manipulation controlled by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Right. Rockefellers control from Canada and South America. The 1%. Yeah. It's very strange to understand, but the Vatican is deeply involved. You're going to
I
find
would
out
believe that.
a lot of things are going on behind the scenes, not to deny the message of Christ or the teachings of any spiritual group, but the religions are going to be exposed for the manipulative mind control cults. The message of the spiritual teacher will be revealed. Ancient sites will come forth eventually. The plan, as it's understood that we're told to share with the public, is that the banking system will start. After this, simultaneous to this event will be the takeover of the world's media system, which is controlled and manipulated, folks, as if you didn't know. You look at the television, nothing but negativity. It's wonderful to have
Except this one.
a show like this that's coming out there. But there are sensors, they will be removed, and there are preparations. The people will begin to know that there's been genetic engineering going on through this is actually a fallen hostile force behind the scenes, genetically altering the species. That's why what we call divine intervention is allowed to take place. We have free will, but we are unaware of the advanced technology that utilizes chemtrails, which is spraying what's called smart dust or nanoparticleized
aluminum, barium,
and
bad stuff.
And little technologies that go in your body that actually work as radio receivers to cell phones and can attenuate your body's frequencies, along with all the poisoned foods. You have vaccinations, which also contain microchips and reverse engineered viruses that are interfered with the mitochondria and the DNA. All the autism is coming from vaccinations. People do not get your children vaccinated.
I have never had my children vaccinated. They're 20 and they're healthy and never. Yeah.
And if the child's too young while their DNA is developing, that's what happens.
Horrible.
So there's lots of things that are going to end the HARP. Some things are going to be revealed that the actual Bushes, actually George Bush Sr. was a Hitler Nazi youth. His father came here, was working with Nikola Tesla, and worked in Tesla's labs, who was a great scientist. Much of his technology has been suppressed. Free energy has been here, folks. I know you're tired of hearing it, but you will see it soon. It's coming out. It's prepared. You're going to take your house, folks. Get ready and be happy. You're going to take a little box about the size of a briefcase. You're going to disconnect your house from the grid, and you're going to plug in. You have free energy for $350.
It's right here. It's everywhere.
Next step, take the engine out of your car, put one of those in.
Cool.
We solve the problems, all the lies of the wars. People are going to be freaking out a little bit when they get this information, and people have to go through the series of recognitions of what's going on. But the evidence will be presented. I work with I'm in contact with a gentleman, several people behind the scenes in the financing system who are giving me information to reveal to the public. And also as well as a gentleman who worked for the government secret space program. I met a guy in '51 who developed the first UFO. The government had a spaceship in 1952, folks. And the secret space program, the shuttle is a joke and a lie.
Oh, yeah.
But the secret space program, you can see that on the Promise Revealed. I have a secret space program and the HARP photo gallery. If you go to my galleries, I have some great articles in there showing pictures of George Bush with Joseph Mengele, Reinhard Gehlen, Martin Bormann, Barbara Bush.
Wow.
Heavy duty stuff that people are going to have to wrap their heads around. You're going to have to turn off the Kardashians and Duck Dynasty folks, because this is their planets at stake.
And so what would you have people, like you mentioned, having cash at home, keeps them in your car, probably food, water, seriously, because we don't probably know exactly when this is going to happen.
And we're hoping for calmness. We don't want anarchy, crazy, but people need to understand what's taking place. Have lots of water, food. Don't panic. Work with your neighbors. Stay in the house. It's going to come up quickly. Watch the television. You're going to get updated. There may be military in the streets. It isn't a shutdown. This isn't a cabal-sponsored roundup and putting you into FEMA camps. This is the retaking of the country back from a hostile force. Obama, in my personal opinion, is unfortunately a mind control subject. And if you go to MK Ultra and look up this program, there's a book by Bryce Taylor, aka Susan Ford, called Thanks for the Memories. And it's a very deep subject, but I recommend you read that and to understand the nature of that. He basically is an innocent person, has no really control of what he's doing.
Gotcha.
His body is threatened. There's ultra personalities and things like that. So, but the positive news is that with this comes a revelation of who we are, where we come from. We're not alone. We never have been alone and never will be alone.
I'd like to say something about that because we all know, I mean, that's why we're watching these kind of shows, and that's why we're always seeking and searching, because we know that there's got to be another way. We all know that this makes absolutely no sense to live in life of just suffering and struggling and stress and fear. I mean, what kind of a life is that? And so we don't have to die to go to heaven, actually, correct? We're going to actually have that here on earth. Yes!
Heaven of earth is a state of mind, the Christ consciousness, the
Yes.
Buddha or the Krishna consciousness, the Kushtreya, Chaitanya, whatever you want to call it, is the balance between the inner and the outer life. And that's done, you achieve that. The technique that the extraterrestrial have given us is to bring your awareness into your higher endocrine gland centers. You have 7 notes of the musical scale, 7 endocrine glands, 7 levels of energy. So this is why we wear the pyramid on the head. You have a balanced vibrational field resonating on your pineal and pituitary glands. So that's where all your feelings come from. Is the endocrine gland is the first secretes a hormone, and hormones are the first unit of biochemistry that possess consciousness and cause a feeling. So whatever you're feeling, sexual energies, whether you're feeling compassion, a heart space from the thymus or the throat chakra. So we have these different technologies, and that's where the feeling good, like this is a beautiful orgone device that I have on my website.
Absolutely beautiful. Can we get a close-up on that?
Yeah, that's a beautiful
And
device.
There's a coil inside.
There's spiral
copper.
coils in here. Orgone is basically
hold still.
using organic and inorganic compounds and metals under pressure, what's called in crystals, creating what's called the piezoelectric effect, and it has an auric energy field. The pyramid itself is the principle of matter made flesh, because it's the carbon atom. It has a life force field too, as opposed to the Christ principle, which is the principle of matter conditioned through time and space, returning into spirit.
Okay, we have a little time. We still have a little time left, but I want to let everybody know where you can buy. Oh, we don't have much time left. And can you? Is there instructions? Can you wear it all day long? And where can we get these pyramids?
You can get these pyramids as well as these other devices here. This one here, which I highly recommend you check it out. It's called the Quantum Flux Resonator. This is a quantum entanglement technology. Also, we have these amazing technologies here. I can't even begin to explain these. These are holograms,
Here,
but they work. They actually do it. Ladies and gentlemen, have no fear. Great Spirit is here. There are positive changes coming to the planet. ThePromiseRevealed.com. I have a lot of information on PrepareForChange.net. Feel free to reach out to me.
And so, which site can they get these?
Those are on ThePromiseRevealed.com.
PromiseRevealed.com.
Lots of good stuff and information, and I'm available for speaking. I have lots of interviews on there. I've been on Coast to Coast and stuff. People can check that out. Anyway, I want to thank you all. I appreciate your time for being here, and I'd like you all to remain positive and have no fear. Things are changing. They're looking bad, but believe me, the good guys are behind the scenes. The Space Brother Sisterhood of Light have been working, and we're going to meet them in the future when the planet's ready. We have to go through cleaning up our criminal system and the banking system and various other problems that we have on the planet. Monsanto will be shut down. Imagine, folks, no borders on the world. God didn't create lines in the sand. We have to get over this and realize that we're all one people. We come from the same spirit spark source. We're all brothers and sisters of a living, loving, creative source. You can call it the One. You can call it the Father, Mother, God, whatever you want to call it. We are all divine sparks and essences of this, and that's where we're going in the future.
I call him the Big Amigo.
The Big Amigo, the mighty I Am presence.
Yeah, Rob Potter, thank you so much. What a wealth of information. Okay, you guys, thank you, and we'll see you next time, sending you infinite love and appreciation. Thank you for the gift of you. Bye-bye for now.